so much, my neighbor, Senator Dorgan. It is great to be here. I wanted to thank the Farmers Union, Tom, for all the leadership that the Farmers Union showed during the Farm Bill. I agree that I don't think it would have been done without their help. And also my friend Doug Peterson, who's head of the Minnesota Farmers Union. If none of you have ever visited the Minnesota State Fair, you can't go without visiting the Farmers Union booth, which has coffee on a stick, frozen coffee. Everything in Minnesota is on a stick at the State Fair. The latest entry was chocolate-covered bacon. But there is nothing like what the Farmers Union has. It's a great place to visit there. I just wanted to generally, as we heard the wide-ranging ideas, in northern Minnesota we say that the approach here shouldn't be a silver bullet, it should be a silver buckshot. And I think you've heard that from my colleagues, that we need, first of all, some focus on short-term needs, which includes, I believe, bringing down the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. If we went down to 90%, which is actually higher than some of the levels during the Clinton administration and other times, we would inject $6 billion into our economy right there. The second is the speculation, which Senator Dorgan so eloquently discussed, this idea that our demand simply has not gone up with the price of fuel, that something else is at work here. And I think part of it is the Enron loophole and the London loophole and all these things that were done in the last 8 years, which have essentially tied our hands in terms of regulating some of the market forces here. The other long-term approach should be, of course, increased domestic production, but also I just look at this from a Midwestern standpoint, that instead of spending $600,000 a minute on foreign oil, instead of sending all our money to the sultans of Saudi Arabia, that we should be investing in the farmers and the workers of the Midwest. If Brazil can do it with a combination of increased domestic oil production and sugar cane, we should find a way to get there with our biofuels. And we have put some standards in place in the energy bill, as well as the cellulosic transition, which is our major focus in the Farm Bill. And our farmers in Minnesota are ready to go. We were one of the leading producers of corn ethanol, but we know that we're not going to get there with simply corn ethanol, that we need to look at cellulosic, switchgrass, prairie grass, algae, that this country should be able to have the technological know-how to get where we need to go. We're already changing out some of our ethanol plants in Minnesota to include a cellulosic component. And the answer may be putting higher blends of fuels in, not just E10, but going up to E20, that biofuels should be part of the solution in this country. The next thing, which Senator Dorgan mentioned, was the extenders for wind and solar. We're third in the country in wind in Minnesota. There are employees all over our state that have made the courageous decision to quit their jobs and go to work for a solar factory. One of them had me in Starbuck, Minnesota. A 10-employee company had me jump up and down on their solar panels to show that they could withstand hail damage. Unfortunately, they put it on their website. But the story here is that if the workers of this country have the courage to move ahead with renewables and the courage to move ahead to a new energy future, I think that Congress needs to get that same courage. So we need to get these things passed. I think as I said, it's a combination of things people are going to have to compromise, but we need to move forward in this country and not just put our heads in the sand and pretend this isn't happening. Thank you.